This episode was recorded while Sky was a part of the Soundtrack of Our Lives podcast. She has since started her own podcast, which can be found on Instagram at Beats and Brews Pod. We wish her the best of luck in this new venture.
Hello, everyone. We're Sky and Michaela, and today we welcome Jack from Cypher16 to the Soundtrack of Our Lives to tell us about their new album, which is very exciting. So we're glad to have you here with us.
Thanks a lot for having me. It's nice to reconnect with some nice Americans for once.
So, can you start telling us a little bit more about the band's history and how do you guys got together and how do you start making music?
Yeah, so we're going back. Wow, like a lot of metal bands and a lot of rock bands are doing now these days. We're going back 10 years, 10, 12 years. And Cypher16 started, gosh, when we were like 16, 17, like teenagers, probably even before that, with an idea to be in a band and go to tour the world and do all this sort of stuff like everyone dreams of. And it started off with some people at school, and it's gradually kind of evolved throughout the last, as I say, 10 years. Now that I'm 33 now, so it's suddenly I'm super old. To just being being a metal band, being a project. A lot of the people have come, a lot of people have gone. There's, we've toured in some amazing places, but kind of in the last, in the last few years, it's sort of weird talking about it because, and I'm sure we'll come on to this, obviously we all missed 3 years just out of nowhere. So it's sort of like we're looking back on this, like it happened a long time ago, which it did, but it sort of didn't. But it's like, wow, what have we done recently? Not a whole lot, but it's like, oh yeah, I know, the world was shut down for a couple of years. Yeah.
So the new album, I was listening to it. It's amazing. I love it. And I have a few
cool.
questions.
Have you? So you've heard it?
Oh, I've heard the whole thing multiple times. Yeah. I loved it.
Oh, cool. Oh, wicked. That's amazing. I've heard it like one time, so that's really cool. Okay.
My favorite was probably Break.
Okay. Yeah.
That's my personal favorite. Amazing. And I was just wondering, so you have 2 tracks on there that are just instrumental. So what was the thought process behind choosing to add those?
That's a good question. So when I was much, much, much younger, when I was a baby, I used to play the church organ. And when I got into heavy metal, let's blame Slayer for this. Let's blame Slipknot. Let's blame Metallica. It's totally their fault. That side of me kind of, I started not concentrating on it as much, but it's always been an interest. It's always been a passion. I'd like to start taking lessons again, keyboard lessons. I'd like to start taking organ lessons again, piano lessons. And as everyone says to you when you're a kid, my God, when life gets busy, you just don't have time for anything like that. And I'm finding this. But my dad has always encouraged me to just keep fiddling, just try and keep it up. And so I always like to try and play around on the keyboard a little bit. And I'm trying to think how there's an organ, as you know, there's an organ instrumental on the album, how that one came about. But I think it was just me fiddling. We have an organ at home, like a little kind of Hammond thing, which is, it's super cool. And sometimes I look at it and I'm like, fucking hell, there's this fucking beautiful instrument in the corner of the room that I never play. I literally never play it. So how about you fucking sit down, fucking play the thing because it deserves to be played. So I think I did that one day, and that's how that thing came up. And then so then the second instrumental, which is called, what is it? It's To Calgary. That's a funny one. So that's a good story actually. So we go back to the US tour that we just talked about earlier, and I told you that we played up the West Coast. So we did Vegas, we did LA is the next one, and I guess San Fran is the one after that, going northerly. And then we did Washington, and then I guess we did Boise, right? Which were 2, like Washington and Boise, for being in the middle of fucking nowhere, which is where they are. And no one outside of America would ever, if you said Washington to anyone outside of America, they're like, oh yeah, that's where the president lives. And you're like, no, Washington DC is very different to Washington State.
Very different.
but most people outside of America would not know that. Anyway, I know that because I've been to Washington. I've been to Washington State, and we played this cool show because they have the Knitting Factory venues there, which are these 2 like really, really cool venues. So anyway, we played Washington. Knitting Factory was super cool. Then we went to Boise, played the Knitting Factory there, super cool. Anyway, the next morning we were asleep on the bus I'm trying to remember this. And our driver stopped the bus at a gas station or whatever, and he was checking the wheels. And
not a good sign.
Obviously, it's what it's what they do at 3 a.m. when we're all asleep. They stop for gas. They like wash down the bus and all this sort of stuff, and they're checking the wheels. Anyway, he's checking the nuts, the wheel nuts on the front 2 wheels, which are the steering wheels. The wheels that steer the bus. The other wheels are just running the bus. One of the big wheel nuts on the right hand wheel had sheared off. Ooh. Like if I gave you a sledgehammer and I said, fucking see if you can knock this wheel nut off this bus, like a strong man couldn't do it. You couldn't just slam one of these wheel nuts off this bus. It's like impossible. Anyway, this wheel nut has sheared off the wheel. So he wakes us up and he's like, okay, so this is a problem, because what it means is that something's happened to shear this nut off the wheel. And if the 2 nuts either side then go, the wheel will fall off the bus whilst we move. And because it's a steering wheel, the bus will dip into the gap that's created by the wheel coming off the bus, and the bus will flip over and it will roll.
You don't want that.
And you'll all be killed. Yeah. And you'll all die.
That's not good.
So that's why and this is absolutely true. And I've got a picture of the wheel, because I couldn't believe that this nut is like not there anymore. So he's like, so that's the thing, right? So we're like, okay, fine, that's the thing. So anyway, we're in Boise, right? We're in this garage in the middle of fucking nowhere. But we're supposed to be going to Calgary, right? Because we're going up to Calgary to play the next show. We're sat in this garage for like 12 hours. Anyway, after about 7 hours, it starts to get like, are we going to make this show? Like, we're looking at hiring vans, we're trying to get other transport, the whole thing. And I got on the bus, and I'm sat in the back lounge of the bus with Will, the guitar player. And I picked up my guitar because there was nothing else to do. And Will and I wrote that instrumental. And that's the story of that instrumental. And that's why it's called To Calgary, because we were trying to get to Calgary, but we weren't going anywhere.
Well, now the name makes sense, because I saw it and I was like, I wonder if they just loved the city a lot or something happened there. But now it makes sense.
But nothing happened there.
Yeah. Well, something happened in Boise is what happened. But we were trying to get to Calgary. As it happens, Calgary was amazing, because like the Calgary Stampede and all the like cowboy stuff and all that shit. Because we're like, that shit happens down in Texas, right? Oh no, it happens in Canada.
Yeah.
Like it was, so that's the story.
That's a really, really good story behind a song. Yeah.
It's probably the most interesting story there is I've heard behind a song.
Yeah, probably.
Really?
So far,
Okay.
yes. Yeah,
that's
so
really
far,
cool.
yes.
That's amazing. Thank you. So, so that's honestly the story. And I feel like, I think that's why you write songs,
Yeah.
Because like you're in a fucking moment where, people often go, oh, so how do you write a song? And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I never ever sit down and go, I'm going to write a song. You sit down at your fucking computer or whatever and you just write a song. Never. It's never worked for me. I'll always be doing something else, completely doing something. I might not even have a guitar or any instrument or anything. And suddenly I'm like doing the washing up or whatever. And it's like, oh shit. Oh my God, there's this idea, whatever. And you've got to write it on a napkin, or you've got to fucking, I don't know, like, write it in the street or whatever it is, because you haven't got a guitar. And then you get home and you're like, I've got this idea. But it comes about for me totally when I'm not interested, when I'm not thinking about writing music.
That's so interesting. Because, like you said, we hear a lot of times that people are like, well, I have to write a song. I'm going to sit down and try to do something. Or they're just playing the guitar or an instrument and they maybe start writing something. But just doing something else and then coming up with like an idea, that's a whole different process.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love to, I mean, sometimes, of course, I'll pick up a guitar and write a riff and maybe it turns into a song sort of thing. But I find like the coolest stuff comes out of when you're doing something totally different. And it's like you're in a field, or you're, I don't know, playing sports or I mean, I often find it when I run a bar company as well. So when I'm drinking or something else is happening, like, and suddenly it's like, oh shit, I need a guitar. No, seriously, I need a guitar right now. Because this has come, and you're singing into your phone, la 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 la, and then you go home the next day and you're trying to work this riff out, and that's sort of how it goes for me.
do you try to keep an instrument nearby, like at work or something else?
I usually have a guitar somewhere nearby.
Okay.
Not always though. And actually, I mean, I don't know if you've listened to any of our other stuff, but one of our, I mean, it's going back a bit now, but one of our like fan favorites is called Lonely Road.
Mm-hmm.
And that I was like, fuck, I was 17, maybe 18. And I was working in a kitchen in London, washing dishes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it just the riff just came into my head, and I had no guitar. I was fucking like, washing dishes in a pub, and and I wrote it out on a napkin, and I took it home, and that night, or maybe the next day or whatever, I worked it out, and I worked out the song. That's how Lonely Road came about, and that one I always remember because it was like totally nothing music related.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
great. Yeah, it's and it's cool. Like,
Yeah.
it's cool. So if you guys have a question that's lined up, which is like, hey, so how's the writing for the next album going? Fuck you. There's none of that shit happening.
But I do have a question of like, how do you come up with the name for the album? Because there's a song, if I'm not wrong, with the same name.
Yes. So the album, I mean, we're going to go down a whole story here, and I don't know if that's going to affect any other questions or anything, but like, it's been a rough couple of years. I mean, it's been a rough 5 years obviously for everyone, but for the band, for me, for bandmates, for a lot of us. There's been a lot of issues with, people, substances, various things, that some stuff I can talk about, some stuff I can't. And I sort of just I felt like that once this thing was done, and this thing was sort of done in 2019, and obviously we were going to release it in 2020, and then the pandemic hit and all this sort of stuff, and now it's 2023, but actually nothing much has really changed. I sort of felt like just where we ended up as people and as a band and in our personal relationships and stuff, I feel like we ended up in a place, or I certainly did, where you're like, shit, we've gone so far this way that to come back to, I don't know, something that's normal, maybe something that's like that normal people are, it's going to take a while, if it's even possible.
Yeah.
And I
Probably
sort of
not.
visualize that by being, sorry, say again.
The world's probably not going to get back to normal ever. It's like a new normal.
Right, totally, exactly. So I sort of visualize that being like, you choose to go down a road, right, which we all do, but sometimes you keep going down that road for whatever reason, and then sometimes you get a long way down that road, and then you turn around and you're like, fuck, okay, this isn't the road I should be going down. But for me to get back to that junction where I got the choice again to choose which road to go down, that's gonna take a while. That's not just I'll just pop back to the junction. And I think that's where that came from.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, this is the first interview that I'm doing for this album, I think, properly now. So I came into today being like, oh shit, I got this interview. Totally forgot about it. Haven't thought about it. I hope whoever it is like has done some research, knows something about the band, because they're going to lead this interview, and I'm just going to talk from, I'm going to react to your questions, because actually, like, we're pretty lucky. Like, we normally work with really cool people with interviews. We've done a couple where people haven't done the research, but already you two like are fucking well clued up. And it's really nice.
Thank you.
Because actually, you can tell me more about it than I could tell you. What are your names, by the way?
Michaela.
And Sky.
Michaela. And I'm sorry, say again.
Sky.
Sky. Yeah. Michaela and Sky. Sorry, I did ask that earlier. You introduced yourself earlier.
Yeah, no,
so,
you're fine.
That's okay.
It's all good. All good.
So obviously you didn't release the album in 2019, but why do you feel that now is the right time?
I just want to get the fucking thing done.
That's a good reason.
No, I mean, it's so we finished the Abbey Road in December 2019. We recorded in Sweden, we recorded in Denmark, we mixed in Denmark with Jacob Hansen, who does the Volbeat. He does Volbeat and Arch Enemy and various people. And then we work at Abbey Road because it's in London. It's pretty close for me. And obviously it's Abbey Road, so it's really good quality people. We work with Sean McGee, who does, what does he do? I mean, he does like the Beatles, Rolling Stones, all that sort of stuff. And then we were like, yeah, so 2020, we're going to put it out, the whole fucking thing. Obviously the world collapsed. And then, so on a personal thing, in the pandemic, I started a bar company in 2020. And we went on to make a couple of £1 million.
May I ask why you started it during the pandemic?
Yeah, of course. So Okay, so this is an interesting thing because the Americans find this difficult to understand because you have a different drinking culture to us. But basically, okay, I'm a big Guinness drinker.
Okay.
My family are Irish. I live in London. I'm English and stuff. But and obviously, Guinness is Guinness, right? So Guinness can be good, Guinness can be bad. So this is going back years before. This is going back to like 2013. I was sick of going on tour and generally going around getting kind of like subpar pints of Guinness. And everyone goes, well, Guinness doesn't travel. So I'm like, I'm calling bullshit there. I don't think that's true because Guinness is all made in one place. It's put in a keg. It's shipped around the world. The Guinness that's in the keg is the same as every pint of Guinness, right? So the answer must be the Guinness must be suffering from what happens once it leaves the keg, as in the people who are operating it at the bar. So I built a draft Guinness system where I lived so I could have perfect Guinness. But I thought, what would be really cool, why not put it in a flight case on wheels? And obviously I'm in a band, so flight cases, like music equipment, they're in flight cases.
Yeah.
So I thought, why not put the system in a flight case and then we can take it with us on tour? Then we could have like perfect Guinness in the dressing room.
Perfect. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so I built this bar with a dear friend of mine and we called it Alfred the Guinness Bar. So we started taking it around on tour. Anyway, the Guinness is really, really, really good from this bar. So people over the years were like, you should start a business doing this. And this kind of grew and grew and grew. So in 2019, I started a little tiny little mobile bar business in London, going around selling amazing Guinness from this bar. In 2020, the world stopped. But in England, obviously, and the same in the States, the pubs closed.
Yeah.
Right.
Which in England is that's a serious issue. So after 3 months, we had 3 lockdowns, after our first lockdown, people haven't had a beer for 3 months, like a proper draft pint. Now, I had this system sitting at home because I built it years before. And one day I thought I'd put it in a van and start selling pints of Guinness to people's houses. And within a year, we were doing 7,000 pints in like 6 days. Yeah, around London. And we took over. Well, we certainly took over London, and it became a big deal. And suddenly, I've got like a bar company on my hands, which has continued. And I now, as you can see, that's the bar company. It's a big deal now. So that's why the album didn't get released earlier than now, because it didn't come out in 2020 because of the pandemic. There was no point. You put an album out, you can't tour it. Then what? The fucking album just disappears, right? And then the last couple of years have just basically been because I've been so busy with the bar company. And so putting it out now is like, it feels like I've got time to do it. It feels like we can go and tour, hopefully, later on in the year. We can maybe get back to the States in 2024. We can go out to, we've been out to India and China and various places. Like maybe there'll be time to do that. But yeah, 2021 was like, it's hard to explain, but this bar thing sort of took over. It was a thing. And fuck it. I mean, look, I'm in a van right now, but if I go out, I'll show you some of the bars. So
nice.
These are some of the bars. So this is we just did Cannibal Corpse, we just did the O2 Arena and Dark Angel and some stuff. But this is what they look like. So they're flight cases and then lots of bars.
That's really cool.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, it looks really cool. Like
it's very like music based, and it's all. It's like kegs and gas. It's exactly like you're going to see in your pub,
Yeah.
If you guys drink beer, which I assume you do. So it's crazy. Now I'm sort of like doing both.
I mean, it's good. You get to do both things that you like, and that you are, what is the word?
Passionate.
Passionate. Yes. I was going to say inspired, but I don't know why. But passionate is the word I was looking for.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Inspired and passionate, I think, are cool terms to describe it. I mean, look, I like drinking beer and I like drinking good beer. And I think the pandemic showed us, certainly in this country, and I guess in the US as well, because you guys love your beer, it showed us that like cans and bottles are not enough.
There's also the social aspect too.
Of course, absolutely. The US craft beer scene is like insane. Like, do you guys drink? Do you guys drink beer or?
I do.
I just turned 21 like almost a year ago. So
okay,
I'm also a college student, so I've haven't had a lot of time, but I plan to over the summer.
Okay, right on. What are you studying?
Studio art.
Cool. And where are you studying? Because you guys are in
I'm
two different
near
places.
Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
Stonehill
you're in
College.
Boston and Sky is in. Are you in Boston as well?
I'm in California.
Oh, you're on California. Right. I'm sorry. I'm gradually.
No, it's okay. It is
catching
confusing
up with
for
the
people.
California versus Boston thing. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Okay. So then my question to you is
currently in my
like,
dorm room.
so you guys are running. So like, okay, cool. Oh, that's super cool. Okay. So you guys are running this podcast together.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So okay. So how does that happen? Because one's on the East Coast, one's on the West Coast. Like, how did you
Facebook.
guys meet? What's the story? Facebook.
I
Yeah.
wanted to start a music podcast, and I'm in several like music community podcasts at Facebook groups. So I posted saying, "Hey, anyone want to start a music podcast with me?" And Sky said she wanted to.
Yeah, because I was like, well, I've been wanting to start a podcast, but I just don't have like anyone that would want to start a podcast with me. Like, I just don't want to do it alone. I feel like
Right.
it's too weird just to be alone
I
and
think
do
it's,
everything.
you know what, it's really cool because normally, like, you know, the interviews we do or the interviews I do is normally one-on-one, obviously. And today was like, I had no idea because Linda in Sweden, one of our PR girls in Sweden, set it up, and she was like, this is happening. Okay, cool, whatever. I didn't know what was happening, and so I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna log on. I have nothing prepared. I'm in the back of a fucking van, the whole thing. Like, it's a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna see what this is like. And I remember thinking, like, you were like, yeah, this could be like an hour and a half long. And I'm like, that could be great. Because if you get into a conversation, because if you get into a cool conversation with the other person, yeah, it could easily be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
No shit. And then I log on, there's fucking two of you. But that's even better.
Yeah.
Because it's a three-way conversation then.
Yeah.
And that's, I think it's great. And I also think it's important that you're not just asking me questions. I'm going to ask you questions because I'm interested.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll answer
no,
any questions.
Yeah, we used to.
Absolutely.
The funny thing is that we used to tell people like, oh yeah, our interviews are usually around an hour. But then as we were going, we realized with a lot of people, we were taking like up to 2 hours.
Yeah.
Where we were just talking. And then I was like, oh my God, how I'm going to edit all these audio? What am I going to do?
But, you know, but that's kind of the cool thing because this is a podcast, right? So it is a conversation.
Right.
It's not just it's not just a Q&A where it's like, you ask me the question, I answer it, I pause. You ask a question, and then it's like after 20 minutes, hey, this was fun. Nice one. We've got the material. See you later. Okay, bye. Whatever. It's like, you know, it's cool. It's like we should be having a beer. In fact, I have a little bit of a beer here, but I guess you guys don't. So sorry.
No, I mean, actually just.
I got a drink from Duncan earlier, so.
Oh well, there you go. Cheers. All right, wicked.
I mean,
I also have drinking like. What are you drinking though?
It's a raspberry watermelon refresher.
And I'm like, give me a cold brew.
Okay, that's insane.
Well, I mean, it's what 10 a.m. for you? No, 9 for you, Sky?
No. We're way ahead of you. So you're in America, so you're 5 hours. So in Boston, you're 5 hours behind.
It's 12:30 here. 12:30.
Yeah.
It's 9:35 in the morning here.
Yeah, because I mean I've toured, as I say, I've toured in America. So Boston is East Coast, so you're 5 hours behind. California, West Coast, you're going to be 8 hours behind. So we're 5:30 in the afternoon now here.
That's crazy. I mean,
that makes sense, right?
Yeah, you can get a beer. I need the coffee. She can get the refresher because it's like midday.
Right.
Yeah, it's midday. Right. And I still have to do homework and stuff later, so I can't drink yet.
I was gonna say, okay, so it's like 9:30 in the morning over there. That's crazy. That's why you're drinking coffee. I was like, why aren't you drinking a fucking beer? Okay, now I get it.
I mean, she could be drinking a beer at 9:30. Everybody's different.
To be honest, I would be drinking a beer at 9:30. So
I mean, I could, but I need coffee first.
Yeah, no, for real. Yeah, don't we all?
Yep. Since you guys had the album for so long, do you guys end up working more on it till like now?
That's a really good question. No, that's a really good question. I was a little worried when we finished the record, like fucking record's finished. It needs to come out in 2020, blah, blah, blah. And then, all the shit I was talking about happened. And suddenly it's like fucking 2023. The album's still not out. And you're like, fuck, is it still any good?
Mm-hmm.
Like, will it last? Sort of like food. Has it gone off? And I didn't listen to it a lot. I didn't listen to a lot of music, and I hardly listened to any music actually in lockdown. I really went away from music in quite a big way for a couple of years. And I would listen to it every now and again, maybe once every 6 months. And sometimes I was like, yeah, this is fucking cool. And sometimes I was going, this is not very good. So no, we didn't change. We didn't work on it at all afterwards because it was done. The only thing that changed, and funnily enough, you talk about the instrumentals, is the organ instrumental, the mix. We remixed it in 2020.
Okay.
And then the pandemic hit and we never got to remaster that mix. So we went back to Abbey Road about a month ago and we remastered that one. But in order to remaster that one, you've got to remaster the whole album. So we actually did a remaster of the album at Abbey Road like 4 weeks ago just to get the album ready. But that's it. But we didn't work on anything since 2019, like musically.
Okay, that makes sense. How is it? This might not be like a really smart question, but we were talking about like you guys like recording and being in Abbey Road and all that. How does it work? Like, do you have to schedule? Does anyone get to schedule over there? Do you have to have something special to be able to?
No, that's a good question. So we recorded the album at a place called Top Floor Studios, which is in Gothenburg in Sweden, with our amazing friend who's called Jakob Herman, who's a really amazing producer who we toured with on we toured with Amaranth in Norway, I think, where we met him. And he was like, you're going to come to my I've got a studio. You're going to come to my studio in Gothenburg. We're going to record this album. And I'm like, okay. And he just fucking hounded me. And then we did it and it was like the best thing ever. And then, so once you recorded it, then you need to mix it. So we mixed it down in Denmark with Jacob Hansen, who does, as I say, Volbeat, Arch Enemy, Amaranth. He does a lot of, he does all the Volbeat records. He's done everything for Volbeat forever. And he's amazing. Really good friend of ours. And then once you've mixed it, then you go and you need to master it somewhere.
Yeah.
So we master at Abbey Road. I don't know quite how it works, but recording there is very, very, very expensive.
Okay.
Tens of thousands of dollars a day, sort of expensive. Because they do all the big orchestral scores there for the films.
Yeah.
They do, a lot of big albums. Obviously, they did all the Beatles stuff there, X, Y, and Z. It's an amazing complex. It's a working studio. There's tons of rooms. It's really cool. It's a nice place. The mastering, in theory, I think anyone can go and get stuff mastered there, but it needs to be of a certain standard. You need to be willing to spend the money, and there's a bit of a protocol about it. You can't just walk in there and kind of like, hey, what's up, what's going on? But we like it because the reason we like it actually is not just because it's Abbey Road. It's because when we did the first album, which was called The Great Surveyor, when we went to master it, we had it mastered by like 3 or 4 different people, and no one got it right. And eventually someone said, hey, I know a guy at Abbey Road. And we were like, wow, Abbey Road, fucking hell. Because it's like Abbey Road,
Yeah.
But it's the most famous studio in the world.
Yeah.
And anyway, they took it there and we got the results. And it was like, actually, shit, they got it right for the first time. Because, we had it mastered by some big people and it just didn't feel right. And then they got it and it was like, shit, this is really good. So it was nice because it's like, the biggest, coolest, most famous studio. And you get all of those accolades to put it on your album cover and all that sort of stuff, but actually they did the best job. So now for me it's sort of like my go-to place, and it's it's like a fucking half an hour drive for me to head up there.
Oh, that's not bad.
So it's nice. So it's you just have to try and like not knock all over, fucking run all the Beatles people on the fucking on the zebra crossing trying to do the Paul McCartney Beatles photo. You have to try and not run them over because I'm like, hey, I need to get to the street, and they're just blocking the fucking road the whole time. But apart from that, it's a cool place, and everyone's very nice there and stuff. So
that's so cool, though.
But in California, you have some amazing studios as well.
Yeah, of course. It's just like that one is, like you said, like it's known everywhere. Like it has the name, it has everything. So we were talking about that the other day. So we were just kind of curious about how that works.
Yeah, totally. No, it's it's not locked off. You can go and use it. You need to be serious about what you're doing and know what you want, and you need to know a few people here and there. But it's a thing. It's cool.
Your cat decided to join us, Sky.
Oliver,
there's a cat.
A cat walked across your screen.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet! I missed that.
It's just every time I'm on the computer, he's like, "Oh, I want to help."
Those headphones you're wearing, what are they? They're AT what 210s?
The M40.
The M40s. That's
Yeah.
We were endorsed by Audio Technica a while ago. They're like the sickest headphones.
Yes.
I
I've
actually
tried
fuck
the
it. Wait. I actually I have. I think I have. No, please carry on. I'm just
a lot of people, and I even tried the M50X, but when you're mixing, the 50X have a lot of bass than this
okay.
one. So this one is a
Okay.
little bit more
Okay,
like
so you need to stop talking because I actually just have a M50X right here. Yeah,
yeah,
they're great. They're wicked. They're a little bass heavy. The
yeah,
M50X. Yeah.
yeah. So this one for like mixing and producing are just, I feel like they just work for me a little bit better, but everyone has different preferences.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, of course. No, it's really cool. No, they're like the M series are just they're the best, basically the best like budget sort of, like
Yeah.
mid-range level headphones in the world. Everyone uses them. So.
Yeah, I just got nice noise canceling headphones for college. That way I can put them on and not hear everything around me.
Not hear.
Yeah, no, I was gonna go for the like 20X, and then I was doing more research, and I was like, I would rather like spend a little bit more and get something that would be like I would be able to use it for a longer time. I mean,
of course, yeah,
because you can change the cable on this. You can do
no, absolutely. Listen, you always spend the extra $100, and it's gonna last you another 3 years.
Yep.
Never go. Yeah. You go cheap once. You go cheap. I don't know what is it. Go cheap once. You buy twice. Well, I don't know what the fucking saying is.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah.
Don't fucking just don't buy the cheap shit, man.
Yeah, not worth it.
No, save a little bit more and buy something better. Yeah.
Yeah. And then down the long road, you save money.
Exactly. I know. There you go.
Okay, so now we have this fun new section we're doing called Questions No One Wants Answers To, where we ask the most ridiculous questions we could find or think of.
Cool. I'm in.
We talk about them.
Yeah, we talk. We both answer them.
Yeah.
Okay, so what? So we all do it, right?
Yeah. This is my favorite question, and I have been waiting forever to ask somebody it. This guy knows exactly what question I'm about to ask.
Yeah.
What is the least amount of money you would accept to swallow a dead worm?
I'd probably do it for free if I was hungry.
Oh God.
the least amount of money to swallow a dead worm. I don't know. I feel like it's a weird one because like if you really didn't want to do it, you wouldn't do it, period. But if someone's gonna like offer you like, I don't know, if I'm speaking kind of American here, so let's say $100, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well I do it for $100, and then they're like, oh yeah, but would you do it for $50? Well, to be honest, the difference between $50 and $100 at this point, swallowing a fucking dead worm, is pretty negligible. So it's sort of, do you know what? Like, it's a cool question, but I'm sort of thinking like, it's basically whether would you do it at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you're saying.
Okay,
yeah.
So what's your answer?
Maybe like $100? I don't know.
Nope.
Yeah, but if I offered you 99,
Sky, what you would not?
No.
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 Okay, so then let's reroute the question. How much money would we have to pay you to swallow a dead worm?
I'm thinking about it because it's just like, okay, you eat it in like probably less than
but you don't eat it. What you do is look, I don't know how big the worm is, but let's say it's like a normal sized worm.
Yeah.
You put it in your mouth with a glass of water. You close your eyes and you swallow the water, and you hope the worm goes down. And then you're not eating it, right? You're just swallowing.
You're just swallowing it.
Then it's just gulp and it's gone, right?
Yeah, it's like a few seconds.
You're not thinking about you're not thinking about chewing on it or anything.
Yeah.
Crazy story though. Crazy story. Mm-hmm. We were in China. We toured in China a couple of times, and they eat a lot of stuff there. Mm-hmm. And we ate some stuff.
I hope you eat stuff everywhere.
Yes, we do eat stuff everywhere. But I mean, I'm talking like maggots, and grubs and stuff, which are like obviously killed. They cook them, they serve them on a plate, you eat them, sort of thing. So I have a little bit of experience in that, and they certainly didn't pay us to do that.
Sky, I think the real question is, how much is your rent or your bills? Like, that's how much you would accept, because then you could pay it.
I don't know. Just the thought about it makes me want to throw up. Like, just thinking about it. Like, and I know I'll be like, damn, I could get like 1,000 or like whatever money I'm able to get from doing this thing that is just a few seconds. But it's just the thought of it being like a worm is just so hard for me. Like I hate insects, so that's why like I'm struggling. And
Where
it's
are
not
your so
a real thing.
where are your family from? Where are you from originally before California? Or are you born and bred
Oh
California?
no, I'm Colombian.
From Colombia. That's super
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, we've had a couple of offers to go out there, and I'm like super because we've never played in South America, and
Yeah.
I'd love to go there. Like we've had a couple of things in Mexico, Brazil, and Colombia. We work with this great company in Brazil called For Music, who are great friends of ours. And so I'm like, yeah, I'd love to fucking go out there. It seems super cool.
Yeah, I think there will be a lot of people out there that will be like really interested in your music.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Which it just seems like a great place, you know.
It is. It's actually really nice. There's a lot of food and really good stuff out there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm just from Boston. Born and raised in Boston.
You're just from Boston. Okay, yeah, but listen, I mean Boston, so you got what? You got like Dropkick Murphys, you got all the fucking Irish stuff. It's Boston's, you got Cheers. Come on, Boston's wicked.
Yeah, I do love Boston.
Having never been there. Me and my dad tried to go there years ago, but it was like we went to Grand Central in New York, and they were like, "Yeah, it's like 5 hours." We were like, 5 hours? What the fuck? Yeah, it's like down the road. We're like from England. Fucking 5 hours is huge, you know.
Yeah.
For us, like a day trip could be like up to like an hour and a half in Massachusetts, like just an hour and a half out and an hour and a half back for like a fun day trip.
Right. Yeah, totally. No, it's a big country.
Yeah, but that's not even leaving the state. So
yeah, that which is crazy because back home, back in Colombia, you drive like being like 30 minutes or 40 minutes in the car or in a bus or whatever. It's like a lot, you know, like, oh, that's a lot of traffic. That's a lot of, but out here, just being 30 minutes on the car, like driving somewhere, that's the usual.
Yeah.
That's
And actually in London, you know, an hour, 2 hours is nothing crazy each way because the congestion is so much. It's like being being in LA, because I've spent a lot of time in LA, and it's, you know, it's very similar to London, but just so much bigger. Fucking hell, it's 10 times the size, but the traffic is still just as bad. But yeah, you guys can really travel over there, whereas we're not. I mean, we travel a lot, but we're not. I mean, I travel a lot, but most people are not used to those kind of distances.
Yeah. I've done several day trips. So my grandma has a house up in Maine. It's about 3 hours from my house. I've done several up and back.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Within the day.
Today I'm doing one. I've done a 3 hours from London to Bristol, and I'm doing a Bristol back to London. It's easy. It's like 6 hours. It's no big deal.
But for some people, Sky's shaking your head. For some people, they're like, "Why would you ever do that?"
No.
Do you guys drive?
I do. This is a sore topic for Sky.
That's the thing. I know how to drive. Okay, I know how to drive. I just choose not to. If someone else can drive for me, why would I drive?
But in California, not driving, that's like
you don't
suicide.
choose not to drive. You don't know how to drive your car.
I've done LA on public transport. Like I've done LA a few times just using public transport. And our manager was in Hollywood, and he shouted at me one time. He's like, "Hey, how was it? You know, we had meetings in Hollywood, and you fly into LAX, which is, you know, way down in the Southwest." And he's like, "Hey, so how was the journey from LAX to Hollywood? You know, which is a big fucking journey." And I was like, "Yeah, it was cool. I took the bus." He said, "You fucking did what?" I said, "I took the bus." Because otherwise a cab is like $100.
Yeah.
I'm not paying $100 in a cab. He's like, "Are you out of your fucking mind? You got on a bus in LA?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, that's what you do in London." He said, "You don't do that in LA.
But you do in
especially
Boston
not
too. Out of trains, subway.
Right.
Everywhere.
But he would, you know, and I was looking on the map, and we went into some of the gangland areas a couple of times, and you get some of the gang guys coming up from the Bloods and the Crips or whatever. And a couple of times, you know, because I looked pretty out of place on the bus, they were like, "Where are you from?" I just say, "Oh, I'm from London." They're like, "Oh, like England?" And I'm like, "Yeah, London, England." Because in London we stab. You guys shoot, but we fucking stab. And they were a bit like, "Okay, cool." And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm not fucking carrying a weapon or anything, but like, I'm from London. It's not, I'm not completely innocent to the world. You know? But yeah, traveling around LA is very tricky, because basically the way it is, you know, General Motors back in the 40s, everyone was driving a car. They just, to make everyone drive cars, they dismantled the public transportation network. So it doesn't work very well. which is a very clever way of keeping poor people in certain parts of the city because you can't move around on the bus because the buses are no good. And if you can't move around the city, you can't move around the city, which keeps people in their place. Unless you're rich enough to own a car, then you can drive around the city. But if you're poor that you can't drive or can't own a car, you can be kept in your place.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I noticed about LA.
Yeah. Well, I feel like out here it's been getting better with the subway and everything. Like it's just faster, but it's still, there's some kind of danger when you get on it.
It's fucking crazy because the LA subway system is amazing within very central LA, but no one uses it because I used it a couple of times and it's like this pristine, beautiful subway system. There's fucking no one on there.
Yeah.
Because no one's using it because everyone's driving.
Because I use this, I go on the subway all the time in Boston.
Like, because in
that's
Boston,
the main mode of transportation.
Right, like in London.
So what is something that characters do in movies that annoys you the most?
That's a good question. I guess I mean, in terms of movies, I like psychological thrillers.
Those are the best.
I'm not a big horror. I'm not a horror guy particularly. I'm not like rom-com. I mean, action stuff is fine. I think, and I'm going American here. Obviously, a lot of American movies, there are some movies where they have characters who are sort of like parodies of themselves. Maybe. I'm not going to explain this very well because I'm not entirely sure how to put it, but when you have really obvious characters, especially in like fucking rom-coms or comedies or action films where the character is supposed to be a certain way, so the character is being played by a guy who just fucking makes it that he's exactly like this, and it's so ridiculously obvious that they're playing it up to this idea of what they're supposed to be like rather than just serving the film. It's like in music. I'm not a big fan of guitar solos, personally. Or, if you're a fucking amazing guitarist, and I know some of the best guitar players in the world, and they're fucking amazing, but I don't care, particularly in the middle of a song, which is a really good song, you go off and just fucking wank for 2 minutes because you're amazing. And you are amazing, but that doesn't serve the song.
No.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's about you. And I don't care how many fucking notes you can play on the guitar in a second. It's not important to the song.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I think going back to the film thing, when you've got characters who are sort of living up to this stupid hype about what their character's supposed to be like, well, that's not conducive to the film. And everything should serve the film or the song, because it's the same project. So I guess that pisses me off.
Mine is just when they do the most stupid thing, like, I'm not a big horror movie person, but when I do watch it and they're like, oh, I'm going to go investigate this weird noise alone. I'm like, what? I don't like that.
Yeah. Same thing. So that's like playing up to what the movie should be about.
Right.
But no, the movie shouldn't be about that. The movie should be about what works for the movie, And that doesn't work for the fucking movie.
Yeah. Because everybody knows exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking the exact same thing. Like, that's so annoying. In real life, if I hear something or there's someone in my house, I'm going to try to hide. I'm not going to try to investigate what's going on. I'm not trying to get killed, or I'm not trying to find out what's going on. Yeah. Like, that's not who I am.
No, totally. No. I think, just when it's sort of fucking, just too obvious.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Boring.
We've all seen this film 50 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my answer.
I like it. Next question is, what is the most bizarre dream you've ever had?
Jesus Christ. I have bizarre dreams every night. So I don't know. I don't think I could answer that, to be honest, just in that, I don't know, without going too deeply into it, like there's not one most bizarre dream that I've ever had. And I'm like, that's the most bizarre dream I've ever had. It doesn't exist. To be honest, like most nights I wake up and be like, whoa, holy shit. And whether that's from drinking too much or being a not particularly peaceful person or whatever it is, usually there's something pretty radical going on in my brain at night. And I mean, if you said to me the last time I slept well, probably 20 years ago.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, there's a lot of demons inside, so it's I don't really, I sort of get up and try and forget what happened in the night a lot of the time.
Okay,
so there's your answer on that one.
Sky, what about you?
I was just thinking about it, and the other day, like maybe like 2 weeks ago or something, I had a dream where there were like giant frogs,
Like bigger than you?
giant, yes, like gigantic, and they were like following me. So I'm scared of frogs. I'm really scared of a lot of things, to be honest.
I have worked that out by now.
And they were like following me and like jumping around, and I feel like frogs are like so disgusting, like they look so, but I don't know, it's like, oh, and they were like jumping around and trying to like get me, and I was just trying to run away, but they would jump like really high and then kind of try to get. It was a very stressful dream, to be honest, but it was also like very, because that makes no sense. There's no frogs that size, or not that I know of.
I was gonna say in South America you probably have some pretty big frogs.
I think in my life I maybe seen like maybe 1 or 2 frogs when I was like younger.
Okay.
Because I tried to stay away
you haven't
from.
been out to the jungle or anything?
No.
She's too afraid of the frogs.
Apparently.
Exactly.
Okay.
We used to catch frogs at my grandparents' house.
We used to, I used to catch frogs as a child in England, in the rivers.
And then we would accidentally kill them because we would put them in these like buckets and we'd fill it with like sand and water, and then we would leave it in the sun for hours and accidentally fry them.
That's okay. Now the horror movie is beginning right now. So
wait, so what about you, Michaela?
Exactly what my weirdest dream was. So when I was like in first grade, so I was like 6 or 7, we studied like Kenyan wildlife, and so like Africa. So I was assigned the hyena, and I had a recurring nightmare about hyenas. And I don't know why I remember it and why it's just like always the weirdest dream I've ever had. But I was like outside with my friends in my neighborhood. So like there aren't hyenas in America. And then suddenly like hyenas appear, but they like attack me, but they don't hurt, like kill me or anything. They just like, I don't know, like suck my juices out. And I'm like this shriveled up prune of a child.
What?
Okay.
What are they? What?
I don't know. Maybe I'm afraid of raisins.
There's something wrong. There's something wrong in your head. That's what I'm just thinking.
That was the recurring nightmare I had when I was 6 or 7, around there. So.
Well, there you go.
That is crazy. Okay, I'm gonna ask one more question, and then we can move on to the actual questions that should matter. But if you could be any form of potato, what would you be?
Any form of potato?
Yeah.
If I could be any form of potato, or which potato do I enjoy eating the most?
You can answer both.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, oh God, because I love carbs, right? I'm a big carb guy. I mean, obviously, like I like potatoes. I like chips, obviously, and chips. We're talking English, right? None of this fucking American bullshit. Fucking, like because those are crisps, right?
Yeah.
Let's get this straight. Crisps are like your potato chips.
Yep.
Chips are what you put in the oven. French fries belong to the French. Those are the
Right, yeah.
But I mean, I like all of it. I love, when we go to America, obviously your food is just fucking, I mean, it's insane, but we love it, but it just ends us. So like, going into like any sort of diner in the morning and then having like the hash browns or the fucking, oh shit, when it's what is it? When you like get like eggs and bacon and then it's like strips, tiny little strips of potato.
Like home fries?
Potato. No, not like home fries.
I feel like that's still like hash browns, just not.
It's sort of like hash browns,
just not in the shape. Yeah, just not in the shape.
Yeah, right, exactly.
There's so many different kinds of hash browns.
Right. So I really like that. What else do I like? I mean, just potatoes everywhere. Fried potatoes in any form are amazing. Which one would I like to be, or none of them? Because I'm just gonna get eaten.
That's a good answer, though.
Yeah, I mean, why the fuck would you want to be a delicious piece of fried potato? You're just gonna get eaten.
That's true.
I think I'll just be like a, like regular potato, not cook it, nothing. So
yeah, because then no one's gonna fucking eat you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd probably be like a waffle fry. That's my favorite kind of French fry.
A waffle fry. Yeah,
I can show you a picture.
Yeah.
Is it just like a potato in a shape
in a waffle iron, like shredded
I don't
potato.
know how they make them.
Oh, interesting. I don't think I have one of those before. So yeah, this just like
okay. So it's just like you put it in a waffle iron.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They're really fun to eat.
Fried potatoes, man. Yeah. I'm into it for real. Just fucking listen. Potatoes. Oh, I mean, they're the greatest vegetable ever. Or are they a no? Tomatoes are fruit. Potatoes are a vegetable. That's correct, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we can go back to a regular
Back to
schedule.
music.
Okay. Okay, back to music. All right. Shit, I better start thinking.
Okay, so do you feel like the lyrics you put on or the lyrics you write, do you feel like they're honest and raw, or like how do you go
Yeah,
about
on this
lyrics?
album they're very, very raw. Which is new for me because I used to sort of write in the third person about kind of issues like I felt that were to do with me, but I would kind of deflect them onto something else.
Mm-hmm.
But the sun is setting here outside the window, so it's all gonna get very hot there. Yeah, no, this album is really raw for almost for the first time, actually. Not for the first time, but it's yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we're discussing that's pretty personal, pretty intense.
Mm-hmm.
And do you feel like that's hard for you to put out there, or for the whole band to put out there?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is hard, and I've thought a lot about it because now I'm just starting the interview cycle on this record with you guys being the first, actually, but there's more lining up now. Yeah, congratulations. And there's going to be a lot of questions. Hey, what's this song about? What's the album about? What's that about? And
But you won't get asked about Dead Worms, though.
Well, we won't get asked about Dead Worms, and that's all. That's a tough question, but it's almost easier. But it's yeah, there's a lot of stuff like we'll talk about it one day. We'll talk a little bit about it now, but there's a lot of stuff we can't talk about, which is just it's just how it is. But by understanding that, then you know that it is raw.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
What's gone down on the record? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Look, a lot of us nearly didn't make it for the last couple of years. And there's a couple of us who possibly shouldn't be here right now.
Okay.
And that's reflected in some of the lyrics, and especially the last track. And yeah, along the way, if you have that in your if you have that in your head when you listen to the record, and then you can kind of from that, if you're not completely if you're thinking a little bit, you can kind of work out the gaps of a lot of things. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happened, and a lot of stuff that's still happening. And yeah, we're putting it down for the first time, which is really nice. So so the answer is it's extremely raw. And when we come to start playing them live, we've played a couple of shows so far with these songs. It's a little tricky, and there's a couple of songs on the album where it's like, hey, if you wanted to play that live, it's like, okay, we need to sit down and work this out if we can do this.
Yeah, no. And I agree with that. You were saying that in a lot of interviews, you're going to get asked, like, what is this song about? Or why did you write this song and all that? But I just feel like a lot of people get so fixated on asking what the song is about or who the song is about. It's like, okay, if the musician don't want to talk about it, just let them have that. They already put in something about it.
It's absolutely. And it's not even that you don't want to talk about it, because you are sort of talking about it by putting it in the song.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
There's various legal things, to be honest, where it's like, if we start talking about some of this stuff, this could become an issue. And it's not like we want to be the whole like, oh, you don't know what it's about, you're never gonna know because we can't talk about it because it's so deep and all that. Fuck that. I don't give a fuck. But just to do with some personal situations at the moment, it's not some of it we just can't talk about, which is fine. And I'm not saying in 10 years we're not going to be able to talk about it, but right now it's a little bit tricky. But it's, as I say, it's cool because we are sort of talking about it by it being in the songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you mentioned playing the songs live. Do you guys plan to go on tour again?
Yeah, we do. So obviously the plan was to release the album in 2020. Then we were going to do this tour with this US band called Trouble, who I don't know if you know. They're like from the 1970s, actually. They're one of the bands that inspired Metallica back in the day. They're one of the old doom bands. They were like Black Sabbath sort of style.
Okay.
They like mixed Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden together. Anyway, we were going to go on tour with them. Then there was a whole fucking thing with COVID, so that didn't happen. And then one of them got COVID and died. Ooh. So then it didn't happen again. And he was like denying COVID, which was, well, I'm not going to comment on it. But in the UK and Europe, we were pretty strong on getting the fucking vaccine, right? Anyway, then they were like, okay, we're going to do the tour. And then there was an issue with the guitar player or someone in the band who didn't want to get a vaccine. And then it was going to become an issue to come to Europe. So then they cancelled again. And it's just been like a fucking it's been a lot of trouble, to put it like that. So anyway, we're not doing that anymore. They're not coming anymore. So that fucked us up for a couple of years. Then last year we went to Finland, which was really nice. We played a festival called Rockfest. It was like Iron Maiden, Nightwish, Bring Me the Horizon. I don't know, some really cool bands. Like, it was really nice. We played that. It was like a one show. Then this year, the plan is to tour in like September, October, November, hopefully. So once the album is out, it's been out for a couple of months, we'll go and do some shows. And then next year, hopefully look at getting back to some international stuff.
Yeah.
That's sort of the idea at the moment. We'll see what happens. Because obviously touring is...
When I was listening to the songs, I was like, some of these are gonna sound so good live.
We did. We played maybe 5 of them live in Finland, and they sound wicked. Yeah. So we've played probably half the album live at least already.
And this time you have to include Boston so I can come.
For real, yeah. So we did. Yeah, last time we did Webster Hall in Manhattan, which was really cool. That was really fun. And we did, then we went to like Pennsylvania and stuff like that. So obviously trying to go up like between, Boston's a tricky one, I guess, because it sort of gets forgotten between New York City and then Canada. A lot of tours just skip right through it.
It sucks.
So yeah, it's one of those things, right? But yeah, it's we don't work out the schedules. We just get told where to go.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, actually, if you're moving to California this summer or whatever, then they don't need to go to Boston because you're going to be out here.
That's true. California will always get hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the place to be. So
it is.
Yeah.
Was it my turn to ask something? Probably.
Yes.
How for a tour? How do you guys prepare for the tour? Like, how many hours do you have to practice or put things together?
So I mean, personally, I spend a lot of time on my own in a room doing guitar and vocals.
Okay.
Because I have to play and sing at the same time, and that's quite difficult.
Yeah.
Like, playing the parts on the guitar is one thing, you practice that, and singing them is one thing, you practice that, but then learning to do it together is quite difficult. So I spend a lot of time in a room just going through, I'll go into a room for like 3 hours and just play one song. And I'll put it on fucking loop, and I'll just play with it for 3 hours again and again and again. And you find after 3 or 4 hours, you start to learn how to do it because it's just muscle memory. So I do a lot of that personally. And then we will get in a room, a couple of weeks before and start kind of going through it. And then the days before, we'll try and do 2 or 3 days kind of solid practice if we can, if there's time, if the schedule kind of is there. Sometimes it's not there. And then the other thing I do is I start running. I just get on a treadmill and start running and getting back in the gym and stuff, just to try and get my cardio stuff up so I can kind of sing through the shows.
Yeah. That's always
that makes sense. Yeah.
People like when you can sing the whole show.
Tough. Yeah, totally. No, it helps, and when you're not on tour, you drop off that shit and then you can't do it, basically. So you've got to try and stay vaguely fit before a tour. So yeah, that's personally what I do before like a run, if we haven't been out for a while.
Do you have any pre-show rituals?
I can't sit still, so I just walk around the venue outside. I meet people, I talk to people, I'm on the bus, I'm in the van, I'm fucking here and here and here. I can't sit still. In the dressing room, people are like sat there getting ready, and I'll warm up. Obviously, you warm up for 20 minutes beforehand, but I just got to be everywhere. Like, that's my thing. I can't sit still. So I'm sort of just checking on this, checking on that. There's always something to do. There's a set list not out. There's a pick in the wrong place, or this amp's not working, whatever. And suddenly it's like, oh shit, the fucking intro tape's rolling. Okay, off we go. Let's just go and do it. And then you go out and hope for the best and see what happens.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's how I do it personally. Most people probably just warm up and go and play. But
yeah, no, that makes sense. So we were talking earlier about how what the process of writing a song is for you, which is not an actual process, yeah. But when you guys then have to produce the song, is it the whole band? Do you have a producer? Is it you? How does that work?
It's on this latest album, it was mainly me and the producer. Okay. And actually, this album was pretty fucked up for us in terms of how it kind of got made. It was I mainly did most of it with the producer, actually. And I came in with these like pretty loose demos. So stuff wasn't really planned, and it wasn't really finished, and it wasn't really ready. I mean, it sort of was and sort of wasn't, but we actually wrote and polished a lot of it up in the studio, me and the producer, which was really interesting, you know, right down to like writing lyrics and stuff. And some of it we were kind of going, that song's not ready, and I was like, well, let's fucking lay it down anyway, and then we'll kind of finish it off. And he was a bit like, I don't think that's going to work, to be honest, because this is not up to scratch. And then we did it, and suddenly it's like, no, that's a really good song. And now, you know, now listening back to the whole album, I think it's a good record, and it all ties together, and all the songs are pretty good, actually, I think. And none of them are like, okay, that's just been completely pieced together, which is sort of what we were doing for a lot of it in the studio, which is pretty crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't sound like that. It sounds great.
Well, thank you. I mean, it was cool to do that, but it was also scary, because normally it's like you go in, you know exactly what you're fucking doing, everything's ready, and you go and track it and you improve on it. This time it was like, shit, are we going to leave this section in? I haven't got lyrics for that. I don't have a guitar part for this. I don't know how to play that. What the fuck? You know, and we were like making shit up. But actually it turned out, you know, some stuff turned out really different. Like, It's a Long Way Back from This Road. That's no idea it was going to end up like that. And to be honest, I hated it. I hated it for a fucking year and a half. And then I came back in one day and I listened to it again. It was like, oh, that is quite a good song. But we always called it that. We always just called it the nursery rhyme, because it was so childish. You know, it's got a fucking glockenspiel. Na 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 na. You know, it's like a fucking child's done.
Yeah.
And we thought that was really funny. And then when we were in the studio doing it, we were like, shit, it's like a nursery rhyme. Okay, let's fucking run with this idea that it's just a nursery rhyme. Let's make it really childish. And that's how the song came out. And it's really childish, except it's really not.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why it's cool.
Yeah. It's a very interesting play on like a nursery rhyme.
It's a pretty nasty, dark, fucking fucked up play on a nursery rhyme.
Yeah. I mean, most nursery rhymes come from messed up stuff, so.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. Ring a Ring of Roses is about the plague and stuff, of course. Yep. Absolutely. But there is, in the middle section, if you listen to the middle section very carefully, there is a glockenspiel there.
Really?
Like a little xylophone, which goes ding, 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 ding.
I feel like those instruments are so difficult to use in this type of music, because they just create a whole different sound.
Yeah, it was again something that, you know, we never went into the song going, when we get to the middle section, we're going to bring out the xylophone. It was like we were doing the middle section, and then the producer was like, hey, I've got this little fucking child's toy here on the side of the desk board. Why don't we try it? And it was like, well, why not? Yeah. And then we did it, and it's like, cool, let's see if anyone notices. And it became a thing, and it's cool. It's a crazy song, and it's a fucking bastard to sing, I tell you, but it's the title track of the whole album. So.
Yeah, no doubt. That's interesting. And
so aside from like having a nursery rhyme but not really nursery rhyme song, what sets your music apart from other bands?
That's like the question people ask. They're like, hey, so how would you categorize your music?
Yeah.
To which I'm normally like, fuck you.
Well, I don't try to put anyone in a category, because
no, totally no. Like I'm always like, I don't think anything sets us aside or apart from anyone else, because I don't think that's something that we're looking to do. I like that. What do I like? I like that we're really heavy. I really like purity of sound. So if you listen to the rhythms, like the rhythm parts, it's heavy, it's distorted, but it's very pure. It's very like octaves. It's very clean.
Yeah.
But it's really important as well to have a lot of melody. So we have a lot of octaves, and then obviously it's clean singing. It's not screaming. For me, music needs to be heavy.
Yeah.
So like, you know, the heaviest composer in the world for me is J.S. Bach, you know, the classical composer, heaviest composer in history ever. Also the best, but the heaviest for me. There'll never be anyone as heavy as him, in my opinion. And that's what I'm all about. So music can be heavy, like electro. I love Nine Inch Nails. I love a lot of stuff that's not like metal, a lot of like, you know, deep electro, all this sort of stuff, as long as it's heavy. And that's what I'm interested in doing with our music. And like some friends of mine play in a band called Gojira, and they're heavy, but really melodic as well. And it's that thing. And I, you know, occasionally send some of the songs to Joe, and, you know, because they're in Brooklyn, those boys. yeah, they, it's like, it's not a similar thing because they're sort of more of a death metal band still, but like they fucking got the pure heaviness thing going on, and they're like the heaviest shit ever. So that's sort of like what I'm like the quest I'm on now.
Okay.
To make stuff that's really heavy but really melodic.
Yeah.
Because we're not in a deathcore band here. We're not a death metal band or anything like that. We're not in a fucking core anything. We're not screaming. And, we're not in fucking Lorna Shore. As much as I love bands like that, and I love Fit for an Autopsy, and I love Meshuggah, and I love all that sort of stuff, that's not what we're doing. But I think to try and be as heavy as possible is still very interesting to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. And also the melodies always... like they always play a big part in music and in reaching to the listeners, because that's usually the people, the listeners get stuck in their heads, the melodies. Like it's not the rhythm, it's not
exactly. So no, you're absolutely right. It's why you could probably hum me the solo from Nothing Else Matters, right? Hetfield solo, the you can just hear it because it's so memorable. Whereas you're not going to remember the fucking solo from Future Breed Machine by Meshuggah, which is equally as amazing. And they're like one of my favorite fucking bands ever, but it's not the same sort of memorable.
Yes.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Okay, so we have like 2 more questions, I think. Or one more question and then to finish off. So what advice would you give to aspiring musicians who are just starting out?
Don't go into the music industry and don't be a musician. Save yourself. Get a fucking real job.
Well, doesn't it? I mean, that's your advice. I love that.
Honestly, that's the advice. Yeah. To be honest, if you want to be a musician in a band and you want to tour, absolutely go for it. Go and do it. But be under no illusion that you're probably never going to make any money and you're going to lose a lot of money. You're going to be poor. You're going to have no quality of life except for that love of music and that love of touring. But as long as you can do that all the time, maybe you can just about stay afloat. But you'll be living beyond the poverty line, and it's tough. And then the problem is when you're then not touring, you're working some shitty job in order to try and get the money to go on tour, which will then just cause you to lose money again. And then you're stuck in this fucking cycle. And now that, I'm 33 now, so I've been doing this a little while. But I know a lot of people in the 40s and 50s and 60s who are still doing it, and they're still in the same situation because the reality is hardly anyone makes it. And touring now is so difficult because of the entire world economic situation that it's very, very, very tough. And unless you've got a lot of backing financially, it's a tough one,
Yeah.
And you might as well... And this sucks, and I know people would hate for me to say this, and I fucking certainly didn't want to hear it when I was younger, but you're better off getting a really nice job with a bit of extra money, and then you can go on tour. You can lose that money. You can have a great time on tour and do it as a hobby. Because if you put your life into it, then you end up with less than enough, usually. Not everyone, of course. Some people make it, and but even a lot of the bands that make it, they're still not making any money.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. Unfortunately now, and that's just a generation that we've been born into. We just I guess we got it wrong by 35 years. I've heard the 80s and 90s were a good laugh, but the 2000s onwards, when streaming hit, streaming fucked for everyone basically. And now it's so difficult to make any sort of money unless you're in the 0.1%, and even then it's tough because I know a lot of the bands at the top, and a lot of them are still like, we still don't make much money. We sell out fucking stadiums. And we're still making $100,000 a year, and it's like, wow, really? Fuck, you're in Muse or you're in Metallica or whatever, whatever it is. I don't want to start naming names, but like, big bands, and it's like, but the costs, man, the costs of running this thing. So there you go. Sorry.
No, it's good to have the truth. People like the truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love that.
And our last question is, what is the soundtrack of your life?
That's a cool question. So in the pandemic, I said earlier, I really shut off from music, which is pretty unusual for a lot of people, except for one album. And the album it's called The Dead Eye. It's by a band called The Haunted from Sweden, who are a Swedish mellow death, basically. It's melodic death metal, but Swedish melodic death metal. They're from Gothenburg. And the Swedish, I don't know if you know much about Swedish melodic death metal. It's like In Flames, Soilwork. The Haunted, At the Gates, Arch Enemy. So that whole thing, they kind of created this whole Gothenburg sound. I just got really into this album, and I basically put it on repeat for about a year and a half and didn't listen to anything else. So now what am I listening to? Now we know some of the guys in Metallica, which is really nice, and the new Metallica album is really good. So I'm listening to that. I'm really pleased because it's really cool. I'm listening to Fit for an Autopsy, who are obviously an American, what are they, deathcore or something? I don't really know what the genre is, but they're fucking wicked. Obviously, the Gojira stuff is amazing. I'm really into the Meshuggah stuff right now. I love Meshuggah. They're one of my favorite bands. So I'm always into them. What else am I listening to? And I'm sort of like trying to listen to like really cool like 90s and 2000s like electro pop and like 80s like fucking Miami Hotel Vice sort of you know, that sort of stuff, like really kind of out there shit where it's just this amazing groove. I'm sort of trying to get into some of that stuff right now as well. So my musical tastes are, especially in the rock and metal world, they're very, very, very small. I don't have a lot of bands that I listen to be honest, because I don't like most of it. I'm not a big metal fan anymore. But I love metal and I love heavy. But there's like certain things that I dip in and out of. It's really specific. So the soundtrack to my life. Did you say the soundtrack to my life right now?
Well, it's just in general. It's for you to interpret how you want.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool question. I mean, Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor for me, my hero. Metallica, Meshuggah, The Haunted. Yeah, you know, that sort of stuff. It's like whatever's fucking heavy, like really heavy. That's what I like. And J.S. Bach.
Love that. Yeah. I mean, well, Jack, thank you so much for coming and talking to us. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been, sometimes we come here and we don't know what to expect, or we don't know how the guest is gonna be like, or you know, sometimes we have serious people that are just like, ask me questions and then we go and then that's it. Yeah. Some people we just really get to actually have conversations. Yeah. Yeah. But it's a podcast, right? So it should be a conversation. Yeah. It should be as much about you guys as it is about me. Obviously you're leading it. Yeah. But you know, it's a thing, right? Yeah. I agree. Yeah. No, so thank you so much for coming. Absolute pleasure. And it's been lovely to meet you guys. And once you're in California, hopefully we'll be over. I mean, maybe if we can sort the visas out, maybe we'll be over next year. And then you can come to a show. It should be fun. Yeah, that'd be fun. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Just keep us updated. We will do. Yeah. Keep following the socials and all that sort of stuff. And I don't do much of it myself, but we have people who do it. And yeah. Yeah. Do you want to drop the socials so people can follow? Oh, yeah, of course. Okay. So the band is called Cypher16, CYPHER16. Jesus, what are they these days? I guess the Instagram, I think, is Cypher16_official. Facebook is, I think it's just facebook.com/Cypher16. I guess it's I'm looking at it right now. It is, yes. I think it's basically because the band name is so fucking stupid. You can basically find it anywhere as long as you type it right. So it's just CYPHER and then the numbers 16, and then you'll pretty much find everything there. Okay, perfect. That works. All right, perfect. Thank you. Cool. No worries. Thank you guys so much, and it was a pleasure. Yeah, of course. And I'll catch you guys soon. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Perfect. Bye. Have a good rest of your day. Bye, guys. You too. Thank you. Bye.